Good evening. Welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News for Tuesday, the 21st of November. There's a lot happening these days as we get close to the Thanksgiving holiday. Here's a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. The man who killed Alyssa Longwell on Badger Mountain Road last winter is likely to spend up to 65 years in prison after being convicted for her murder. There's a new license plate on the horizon in Washington commemorating a folk hero of wildfire prevention, but your signature is needed to make the license plate a reality. In weather today, much like myself, today's weather was what you would call 40-ish. Dan Kuntz will be along a little bit later on to see how the forecast is shaping up for the Thanksgiving weekend. First, our top story tonight, a house fire just before 6:30 this morning endangered 19 people on South Methow Street in Wenatchee. All of them, however, were able to safely evacuate, and one teenage survivor acted quickly to save a baby from the scene. Wenatchee Valley Fire Chief Brian Brett says the fire in the 300 block was confined to one room and may have been caused by a frayed extension cord. Chief Brett visited the NCWLIFE studios today to share the story.
Just before 6:30 this morning, fire crews were dispatched to a reported house fire with a baby trapped, and the occupants were not able to get the baby out. When fire crews arrived, they had light smoke showing from the backside of the house. Fortunately, law enforcement was there and were able to confirm everyone was out of the house with the reporting party. However, there may have been a lot of people over for the holidays because there was 19 people in the home at the time of the fire. And fire crews took a line inside and did a primary search, as we always search a house for occupants, even if we get an all clear, as long as it's tenable, we always search and confirm. Crews located the fire room in the back of the house. The doors were closed, which ended up being a life-saving measure taken by the family that night, as the fire had went through its full stages and was in the decay stage. The amazing thing about this incident was the room right adjacent to the fire area there was a 14-year-old girl and a baby in the room. The 14-year-old girl had the situational awareness to check the door and determined it was not safe to evacuate. Thankfully, it was in the decay stage. She then made sure the door was shut. She went, breached the window, either broke it or opened it, I'm not certain, but she used the second means of egress, handed the baby out, and extricated herself out the window with the help of the other occupants.
The chief says while the house will be habitable once again with a little repair, the 19 folks inside are temporarily without housing. The American Red Cross is assisting them with temporary accommodations. Prosecutors say Dalton Scott Potter faces a minimum of 53 years in prison when he's sentenced next month for the murder of Alyssa Longwell. The 28-year-old Potter shot and killed Longwell, his former girlfriend, on the shoulder of Badger Mountain Road last January. A Douglas County jury convicted him of first-degree murder and 6 related felonies on October 30th. Prosecutor Gordon Edgar submitted a sentencing memo on Monday that says Potter's standard sentencing range would be 53 years to 65 years in prison. Edgar has not yet recommended a specific prison term. Judge John Nodell, the visiting Grant County judge who presided over the trial, has the option to impose a stiffer sentence. Potter is due to undergo sentencing on December 14th, when Longwell's survivors and witnesses to the attack are likely to give statements. A young Wenatchee woman who was the subject of a statewide missing person alert has returned to her family. 21-year-old Shahira Harrison left her family home in Wenatchee without warning on November 14th, raising concerns after she stepped into a vehicle her family didn't recognize and left her phone behind. Shahira was identified as a vulnerable adult, and the Washington State Patrol issued an endangered missing persons alert for citizens to be on the lookout. Wenatchee police and Shahira's family say she was located as of Saturday and has since returned home. Well, the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is seeking funds to replace its 2010 Chevy van. The van has served the local animal shelter well for over a decade, but now the paint is peeling, the doors no longer work, and it's transported one too many furry friends. The Humane Society will be raising funds for a new van through the Give NCW campaign, a seasonal fundraising drive orchestrated by the Community Foundation of North Central Washington. To donate towards a new van, visit the Community Foundation's website.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Get your favorite beverage and a wide variety of food choices all under one big roof at the Tap Room in Pybus. The Tap Room has the most popular choices for lunch and dinner in the Valley. With unique appetizers, salads, sandwiches, and tasty rice bowls, everybody will find a new favorite dish. Plus many craft beers from Hellbent Brewing, or you can choose wine, cider, or a delightful craft cocktail. Experience the family-friendly Tap Room at Pybus for yourself. It's just what you've been looking for.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
This is the time of year we celebrate family, traditions, and great food. At Abby's, our legendary pizzas are so giant that they feed up to 6 happy family members. When you need a break from cooking, think Abby's. Our place or your place. Our family is here for your family. What makes Abby's triple topper so great?
Canadian bacon, pepperoni, ground beef.
With these premium toppings piled to the edge, it's a whole lot of pizza on sale for a very special price. Order your triple topper now at abbys.com.
Hiking season at Kenzie's Landing is coming to a close for the year. The popular trailhead at Kenzie's Landing, which had its grand opening in April, will close beginning December 1st, along with all other foothills trails north of 5th Street. The trails close each winter for the protection of mule deer habitat. Both Saddle Rock and the Lower Castle Rock Natural Area will remain open as other hiking options for now. The trails will all reopen on April 1st next year. Well, a new license plate option is in the works for Washington drivers. A commemorative Smokey Bear plate will encourage others on the road to be aware of their part in starting wildfires. The plate would be issued by the Washington Department of Natural Resources if it's approved by the Department of Licensing. Public Lands Commissioner Hillary Franz introduced the plate program Monday in a Pierce County press conference and encouraged those interested to sign the petition at the DNR's website that would make the plate official. A minimum 3,500 signatures are required.
This has been something my agency has wanted to do for a very long time. After all, what better way to highlight wildfire prevention and the importance and empowerment we can give to people that they can prevent fires other than Smokey the Bear, who's been doing just that since 1944. It's pretty amazing. He is iconic. I grew up with him, like probably many of the people in this room and many of the people throughout our country, where we learned as small children the importance of helping our firefighting, helping our communities by being one that can prevent wildfires. As you know, as we all know, Smokey said, only you can prevent wildfires. And I think very often in our wildfire seasons, many people feel completely powerless. They feel like they have no ability to stop or prevent these fires, but that is not true.
When we come back, at least one new member of the Wenatchee School Board got a nearly unanimous vote. Tucker Jackson was the only newcomer to run for a seat with no challenger. After that, it's your weather outlook with Dan Kuntz and a mammoth helping of NCWLIFE sports with Eric Granstrom. Stay with us.
Caught in a conflict? Family? Workplace? Neighbor? Business? Housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
If you're helping a relative, friend, or neighbor with tasks like shopping and meals, then you're a family caregiver, and we celebrate you. November is National Family Caregiver Month, when those who selflessly assist relatives, friends, and neighbors are honored for their work. Aging in Adult Care can help you help them with chore services, respite, and home-delivered meals. Call Aging in Adult Care of Central Washington at 1-800-572-4459 for family caregiver support.
The holiday season is here, and life is hectic. Let Merry Maids help simplify yours. You expect a lot, and Merry Maids delivers more. They'll make your home or business sparkle for holiday parties, special events, and family gatherings. They'll customize the cleaning to fit your needs and your budget. Merry Maids are cleaning experts. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. Best of all, your satisfaction is always guaranteed. Visit online, merrymaids.com, and call for a free estimate. Then you can relax. It's done.
At Confluence Health, our mission is clear: to provide exceptional care for our community. We believe in healthcare that's personal and local because we're just like you, members of this great community.
We are Confluence.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
We are Confluence.
The political campaigns this year around the Wenatchee School Board were some of the most energetic in recent memory, but one new board member will take his seat a week from now without having faced any challengers. 45-year-old Tucker Jackson is the parent of 2 children in the Wenatchee schools. He told me the lack of an opponent in his race to represent the school board's District 3 came as a pleasant surprise.
I was expecting to see another name next to mine. I think it was a pleasant surprise because I think that what you do on the school board is not always represented by how you campaign. So it was nice to be able to focus on preparing myself for the actual position rather than saying, how do I present myself in a certain way to get the votes that then become the position.
You may have had a chance to introduce yourself to voters in District 3, but tell us what you would have told them. Who is Tucker Jackson?
Sure. I am originally from Seattle, but moved here in 2017. And I am a stay-at-home dad. I do a little bit of digital marketing on the side, but I have a very diverse resume from before that. I worked in management consulting. I used to do construction. I was a goat herder for a while just to keep it interesting. And I really do think the diversity of my experiences helped me connect to a wide range of people.
You and your spouse have 2 children, fairly young age. I'm assuming they're in the Wenatchee schools?
Yep, both at Washington.
Is that the reason that you wanted to run for the school board, or were there other reasons that you wanted to get involved in this?
Mostly I did because I have, my kids are young, they're going to be involved in the district for a long time. My niece and nephew are even younger, they're in town, and I think it's important. I think it's important to participate, but I also think it's important to participate when you can affect change for people you really care about. Not that the overall valley is not important to me, but when you say, do I want to read additional information about this part of the packet that I got before the school board meeting? If your kids are impacted by that, there's a little bit extra that you want to give. And so I really do think that my interest is heightened by having kids in the district.
Is there a particular project or agenda you want to put forward in your first term? I mean, what things do you want to bring to the board and have them start to address?
Right. I think that we are going to end up with a bond and a levy during my 4-year term, and I want to do that in a way that benefits the students and is also something that works for the community, because the conditions of high school, I think, have gotten to the point where something needs to change, and I don't want that to be a huge burden on the overall community. So how do you get something that works for students and works for the community is something that I'm pretty passionate about, and I would really like to have the process, be part of the process for getting that done.
Observing the board to this point, has it made mistakes in the past couple of years? You know, things that if you were on the board, you would have voted differently?
I think that coming out of
the pandemic. It just a lot of things were untested and uncertain, and so I will give them the grace of having to make incredibly difficult situations on the fly. And while hindsight's 20/20, and maybe I can make some changes, I know that what they were working with at the time was incredibly difficult, and I'll let them have their I'll let the history judge them, not me.
Time once again for your weather forecast. Dan Kuntz one more time filling in for Grant Olson. He'll be back in the big city tomorrow as we take a look at our Slide Ridge camera high on the south shore of Lake Chelan, looking out over Roses Lake in the General Manson area. I wanted to bring up Roses Lake because I caught a really big perch there a couple of years ago. It was tasty too. First of all, if you're traveling over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house, you're not going to have any problems really on the mountain passes. This is an updated slide from what they sent to us yesterday. Just a little bit of a rain-snow mix possible on Stevens. I-90 Snoqualmie, you're going to have nothing but rain Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning. Then it tapers off. A little bit of a rain-snow mix expected perhaps on Wednesday later in the day on Stevens. Isn't going to be sticking to the road. And on Blewett, no problems at all. So if you're heading one way or the other way, doesn't really matter. Stevens, Blewett, Snoqualmie, you're good to go. I like it when I can give you good news like that. Who's kidding who? We've had worse Thanksgiving weathers than this. In fact, the weather kind of boring. We're right at normal, pretty close to it for our afternoon highs and our normal lows. Yesterday, we hit exactly our high and low. We're pretty close to it again today. 44 unofficially up at Payneborn, got down to 32 overnight tonight. Going to be warmer for the overnight lows, which means slightly warmer temperatures as we get deeper and deeper into the Thanksgiving weekend. And we're down to just, 9 hours and 5 minutes of daylight as winter is knocking on our doorstep. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at your temperatures tomorrow, Wednesday, big travel day for everybody. You'll notice the temperatures a little bit warmer. Moses Lake 44, Ephrata 44. Ellensburg's going to pop all the way up to 47. They're going to have a little bit of a warmer wind as this system comes through. But we're in the lee of the Cascades. Going to keep us pretty much high and dry. Just the slightest chance of a little bit of light rain. Outside of that, because we're going to have a pretty heavy cloud layer that's going to roll in tonight. We've had high clouds all day today. Clouds are going to thicken up and get a little bit lower on the deck, and that means warmer overnight lows, which means warmer afternoon highs, and topping off our parade Omak at 47 degrees. All right, let's get into some serious detail about what's going on. And again, weather's kind of boring. Not a lot to talk about. 44 today with those high clouds coming in. The high ridge that we're under the influence of a ridge of high pressure. It's already beginning to slide out, and that's going to allow a little weak trough to come in. Not really dramatic. This is kind of going to meander on in here. It's going to lower down the cloud deck a little bit warmer overnight low temperatures, and a better chance of precipitation. Here in the Wenatchee Valley, only about a 30% chance of precipitation. That would be on Wednesday. As you saw already, kind of a light rain snow mix on the higher elevations of the mountain passes. Thanksgiving, high, dry, sunshine, 47 degrees. And guess what? Nothing but sunshine. Black Friday, sunshine for leftovers and 45 degrees. And then that's good, leftovers. I work with a lot of comedians around here. Saturday, more leftovers, more sunshine. Again, mid-40s, maybe a couple of degrees cooler on Saturday. Those afternoon high temperatures are going to cool down a little bit because we'll have clear skies at night. Overnight low is going to get chilly. Overnight low is going to get down into the lower 20s. No cloud cover, no blanket. Pretty cold overnight lows. We wrap up the holiday weekend with more leftovers. I'll be sick of pumpkin pie by then, and a high of 41. And Sunday, pretty much the same deal. So we're going to have a few clouds the rest of the day today into Wednesday. Clouds scour out after a little bit of rain possible Wednesday night. Nothing but sunshine for gobble, 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 gobble day, and then leftover day, and then more leftover day, and then football day, and then more leftover day. All in all, pretty quiet weather. One more time, here you go, your 7-day forecast, 44 today, a little bit of light rain. If it happens at all, it'll be while you're sleeping, not me. 35 for the overnight low, again, very mild for the overnight low because of the cloud deck. Clouds one more time on Wednesday, should be dry, right around 46, and then the clouds will be exiting the area Wednesday night. Thursday morning, you're going to wake up to a beautiful sunrise at about 7:20, and it's going to be nothing but gorgeous weather. Gobs of gooey good sunshine, a slightly cooler warming trend because those overnight lows are going to get a little chilly. Outside of that, nothing but sunshine starting Thanksgiving Thursday. At your forecast, Eric Granstrom has sports coming up. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Castle Rock International is the Northwest's premier real estate agency for large acreage properties, farms and ranch land, lodging and resorts, waterfront properties, and commercial real estate. Professional, knowledgeable, and discreet, award-winning Castle Rock International has the listings and the highly qualified buyers you have been looking for. Contact John McNamara at Castle Rock International today, or visit their website for more information about this outstanding local company.
For the 9th time this season, a Seattle Kraken game was determined in either overtime or a shootout. Any way you look at it, it's not been good. Seattle dropped to 3-6 in games going longer than 3 periods as they lost to Calgary last night, 4-3 in OT. The Kraken held a 1-goal lead until late in the third. The Flames were able to tie it and then win it in the extra session.
On a change, Elias Lindholm. Anderson shot off the side of the goal. Mangiapane all the way back. Flung along by Mackenzie Weegar. Anderson, Lindholm, he scores! Elias Lindholm. Sustained pressure, and the Flames break the ice.
A little lucky play there from Kadri.
Face-off win, Dunn scores! Oh, a missile from 29. Vince Dunn from downtown. The Kraken have tied it. Larson kicks it back. Kadri on Alexiak to the point. Rasmus Anderson. He'll organize it. Huberdeau with a shot. They score! It glances by Grubauer. Eberle out of the corner. Although Mr. Crawford did an excellent job last season. It's blocked in front. Eberle right on. They score! It's the hockey gods again for Jordan Eberle as it leaks through Dan Vladar. This game is tied. Dunn, Larson, knocked down in front by Weegar. He turns it over. Larson shot. Scores! McCann out in front. A big blast by the Big Cat. Initiates the play. 9:35 left in the second. It's McCann's goal. 3-2 Seattle. Face off, won by Calgary. Noah Hannafin off the boards. Out in front. They score. Andrew Mangiapane off the scramble. 4:07 left. And the Flames have tied it. Schwartz, Wenberg, and Larson on the ice. This is Michael Backlund. Rasmus Anderson going wide. Decor caught. He recovers. Anderson scores on the follow-up. Rasmus Anderson wins it in overtime with 92 seconds left.
Jordan Eberle and Coach Dave Haxtell said afterwards that Seattle continues to play good hockey, just not good enough.
As of now, it's tough. You know, they obviously score late, put some pressure on, and then 5-1 in OT. Obviously, our start was slow. We found a way to find our legs, found our game, had our chances. It's just, I mean, like you said, it's a tight league. We just, I think I said it after the Vancouver game that we got to find ways to win a little bit more. You know, I don't know how many games we've had in overtime. Seems like a lot, but we got to find games to close out if we have leads, and then find a way to come back and do it in OT. So, you know, you get a point. I guess that's a positive, but we'd like to obviously add 2.
Well, producing offense is obviously a big, you know, it's important. That brings confidence to everybody. You know, I mean, it's a disappointing night tonight, so I mean, we're not going to sit here and pat ourselves on the back. You know, it's nice to see some chemistry continuing to grow, and that offensive piece is very important, and that's positive. But you know, at the end of the day, it's about getting that second extra point here tonight, and we didn't do enough to get that.
Seattle's back home tomorrow night hosting San Jose, 7 o'clock on Root Sports Northwest. Well, the Seahawks are back home trying to heal the wounds of a 17-16 loss at Los Angeles Sunday. Rams dealt Seattle its 4th loss of the season, and Coach Pete Carroll says the self-inflicted wounds hurt more than anything L.A. could deal out.
It's something that we're dealing with. We just have to get to everybody's brain and make sure that everybody can make the right decision at the right time. We need to do a better job, and I need to do a better job of making sure I'm reaching them and making it happen. So, you know, we'll call for a recommitment today, and the guys, you know, do their part to make the right choices and the right use the right techniques at the right time so we stay out of trouble and all of that. So and it's on everybody.
Seattle has a short turnaround week to prepare for San Francisco Thanksgiving night. Carroll says the Niners pose quite an obstacle in all facets of their game.
These guys are loaded. When they're cooking like they have been in the last couple of weeks again, they had their 3 weeks where they took a dip, but when they got back on track here in the last couple of weeks, they look like the team that was playing earlier in the year, which means they're terrifically balanced. They have a defense that they can count on. They've been really consistent, a really good pass rush, bunch of guys on the second level that really make problems for you. But combining that with the team that does mix so well on offense, their run-pass mix is really, really good. They've been very explosive, both ends of that, and so it just gives you no way to get away from the special aspect of this team. It's a really well-balanced club.
Seattle and San Francisco will wear throwback uniforms when they kick off at 5:20 Thanksgiving night, the game on NBC. Well, the college basketball season is getting off to a slow start with a couple of games of interest from last night. Second-ranked Purdue erased a 5-point halftime deficit and beat number 11 Gonzaga 73-63 in the quarterfinals of the Maui Invite. Graham Ike led the Bulldogs with 14 points. Zags bounced back today with a 76-57 win over Syracuse. Ike was the leader again, 16 points and 14 rebounds. Haley Van Lith scored a season-high 16 points and had 5 assists to help LSU squash Texas Southern 106-47 last night. Haley scored 8 of her points in the first quarter. The Wenatchee Wild hosts the Saskatoon Blades in Western Hockey League action coming up tonight. The team from the largest city in Saskatchewan is tied for first in the Eastern Conference of the WHL with Medicine Hat. Dan Kuntz was able to sit down with Wild broadcaster Austin Drade for a little preview of tonight's game.
It's probably as good a team, other than maybe Portland or Prince George, that the Wilds will see the first half of the season. They're strong in all facets of the game, especially early on in the game. They don't give up a whole lot. But especially early in the game, they lock things down pretty well on D and get a good feel for the game early on. One of the top goaltenders in the league in Austin Elliott, 2 of the top scorers in the league coming into the week. It's a solid team across the board, and they're a disciplined group. They don't take a lot of penalties. They don't give you too much.
You mentioned their goalie. They've only allowed 53 goals this year. That's the second lowest in the league. It's hard to put the ball in the back of the net against these guys.
It's hard to get the puck in the net against these guys. Goaltending's good, but they've got good defense in front of them too, and they don't give up a lot of second chances either. So every goal we get, every opportunity these guys get, they'll have to earn, and at the end of the night, they'll know whatever they got in this one, they earned it.
And they're dead last in the league in penalty minutes, which means they play clean hockey. Is that necessarily a good thing, to be the cleanest team in the league?
Well, I think the numbers help tell part of the story. They don't always tell the entire story, but when you're not picking up penalties, when you're not racking up minutes, you're staying out of the box. And when you're staying out of the box, you're keeping your guys on the ice. You're keeping yourself in the game. So, to a certain extent, I think it tells a good chunk of the story. Maybe not the whole story, but it tells you a lot.
Wenatchee is second place in the Western Conference standings at 14-8-2 with 30 points, just 2 points back of first place Prince George. Puck will drop at the Town Toyota Center at 6. For tickets, go to WenatcheeWildHockey.com. Well, as the winter sports season gets underway with practices and jamborees, NCWLIFE is preparing for our winter broadcast schedule. It begins on Wednesday, December 13th with Big Nine Wrestling as Eastmont hosts Moses Lake. Our first basketball broadcast has Moses Lake visiting Wenatchee on Friday, December 15th. Next night has our cameras at Eastmont for the first meeting between the Wildcats and Panthers of the season. We'll be off for Christmas and New Year's and return January 5th to bring you Davis and Wenatchee basketball. Wenatchee's Wrestlers will host Moses Lake Thursday, January 11th. That Saturday, January 13th, we'll bring you Moses Lake at Eastmont basketball. We'll bring you 3 more basketball doubleheaders in January and another wrestling match before focusing on the postseason. If you'd like more on our schedule, head to our website at NCWLIFE.com.
On Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, we'll have a special report. Wenatchee Mayor Frank Kuntz is stepping aside after 12 years at City Hall. He talks with us about his years in office and his hopes for the city's future. You can find all our news from North Central Washington on our Facebook page or on our website, ncwlife.com. If you have a tip, send us an email, news@ncwlife.com, or give us a call, 888-6295. I'm Jefferson Robbins. Grant Olson is back tomorrow evening. Thanks so much for being with us, and have a great night.